Now look, last time we talked about Sean Diddy Combs was just a couple episodes ago. And we discussed how him and his team was fighting to get his convictions tossed out. Well, fast forward a couple days, and prosecutors have fired back in a big way. They're officially asking the judge to give Diddy more than 11 years in prison, 135 months. And yeah, you heard that shit right. 11 years. Look, y'all sit back and relax and stay into the end of this episode because we about to break down what this means, why prosecutors are pushing for such a heavy sentence, and what could happen next. Welcome back to another episode of Eyes Low, Belly Full. As y'all know, this marks episode 162. So in case y'all missed it, we all know Diddy was acquitted earlier this year of the most serious charges, including racketeering, conspiracy, and ex-trafficking by force. But the jury did convict him on 2 counts of transporting women for prostitution, which is, federal Mann Act charges. And his lawyers immediately filed motions to vacate those convictions, arguing that the law was misapplied and saying that his behavior was more of like filming amateur porn than pimping. But that motion has already been denied, and the judge is moving forward to sentencing. And I actually go into detail a couple episodes ago. I went into detail more about him trying to get his convictions thrown out and the scenarios surrounding that. And that episode will be in the description below. You definitely want to go check it out. Now, here's the new development. Prosecutors just filed their sentencing memo and they want 135 months in prison. That's 11 years and 3 months. And they also want Diddy to pay a $500,000 fine. They're arguing that Diddy crimes weren't small. They were systematic. They describe him as unrepentant. They describe his ass as unrepentant. Basically saying that he still hasn't truly accepted responsibility. I mean, they even brought up his history of violence, coercion, and manipulation, claiming that these crimes caused real harm to women who were exploited in the process.
Now to new developments in the Sean Combs case ahead of his sentencing on Friday.
So prosecutors are now urging a New York federal judge to send the former music mogul to prison for more than a decade, but we get the guy.
Yes, we do. The guy is Aaron Katersky, ABC's Aaron Katersky, joining us now. Aaron, what can you tell us about this? Because we're all anticipating what's to come on Friday.
It's really going to be very interesting to see what the judge ends up doing. Now, federal prosecutors say Sean Combs left women broken and beaten. So even though he was acquitted of the most serious charges he faced, prosecutors say he still deserves at least 11 years in prison for his conviction on 2 counts of transportation for the purposes of prostitution. Only a significant term of imprisonment, prosecutors say, can effectively deter him and show future victims that their abusers will be held accountable no matter their wealth or fame. Now, 11 years is far harsher than what Combs believes he deserves. His attorneys cast him as a reformed domestic abuser. They're seeking time served. Prosecutors say that would force the court to blind its eyes to the defendant's actual conduct. And look what they point to. Hotel security camera video of Combs attacking Cassie Ventura to argue that Combs' conduct involved violence, threats, and emotional control. There's Combs right there chasing her down the hallway. Defense attorneys call the government's recommendation draconian, saying it amounts to verdict be damned, lock him up, and throw away the key.
Even Cassie, she wrote a letter to the judge and prosecutors basically saying that if Diddy walks free, her and her family could be in some real danger. You feel what I'm saying? And she's definitely pushing for that maximum 11 years plus, and also I believe another woman that worked for Diddy, I believe she was a personal chef or something like that. She, she wrote a letter to the judge as well, basically saying that, keep him in prison. No bullshit. I believe she suffered from, threats and everything like that to stay quiet about what was going on or the abuse that was going on to Cassie.
So then we look at these letters. Cassie's letter is up here first, and she is saying that she is learning that survivors and victims are never safe, and she is hoping that the judge sees what the jury could not see. Now, her parents write a letter saying that they don't want the judge to basically sentence him lightly because that is dismissive to all of the abuse and basically dismissive to her existence as a whole. Now, Capricorn Clark is saying that she does not see how after the jury heard everything that they heard, that they only found him guilty of the Mann Act, and she needs the judge to do the right thing. Now, Mia kind of went off on the deep end. She made a statement saying that she was not just a simple employee of Diddy's, she was basically being held captive. The reason why I say this is kind of on the deep end because she messaged and called him for years after he let her go, trying to get a job back, asking to be his friend, and even telling him that she had a crush on him. And his former stylist, Deontay Nash, letter did say that he is not a good man, Your Honor. However, it also said that he does not believe that Diddy should sit in jail forever. However, he should sit in there long enough to learn from his mistakes and give everybody else a chance to heal. Diddy's sentencing is Friday. There is no more pushing this back.
Now, Diddy's legal team is still asking for leniency. They want a sentence of no more than 14 months with time served. You feel me? That means he could walk very soon as of sentencing, which is like October 3rd. And his defense arguing that he didn't traffic anyone. You know, they basically saying that the jury already cleared him of most of the serious charges. And the Mann Act shouldn't carry such a heavy punishment in this case. That's what they saying. I mean, the contrast here is huge. 14 months versus 11 years. That's a gap the judge has to wait. And Judge Aaron Sabermanian is the one who will make the final call. And he's got a few options. He can go with the prosecution request and hand down 11 years. He can go with the defense and give something closer to time served. Or he could land right in the middle, which will probably most likely be the option. And the reports say the probation department recommended something like 5 to 7 years. You feel what I'm saying? That gives the judge a middle ground to work with. Not as harsh as the prosecutors want, but not as light as Diddy's team asking for. So here's what to watch. Sentencing is scheduled for October 3rd. That's 2 days away. And if prosecutors get their way, Diddy could be facing over a decade in federal prison. And if the defense get theirs, he can be walking out of prison very soon. But if the judge split the difference, you know, he'd probably get several years, but not the full 11. Either way, this will be one of the biggest sentencing hearings of the year. And it's going to set the tone for how celebrity defendants are treated in these type of cases. Now, I want to hear what y'all think about this situation. Should Diddy get the full 11 years prosecutors are asking for? Or do you believe the judge should show some leniency? Go ahead and let me know in the comments below. And if this video resonated with you, go ahead and hit that like button. Give me a thumbs up and also subscribe and hit that bell notification for more episodes. I'm going to catch y'all in the next one. Peace.